Hey, welcome back. My name is D, and together we are Guiding D Light. Not looking at that camera, looking at this camera. Having a little technical difficulties, but hey, I'm back. What a great time we're in, right? What a great season it is becoming. New beginnings happening everywhere, right? Oh, we got all these new beginnings happening within our lives and our structure, but the new beginnings within our solar system, within each planet, within the Milky Way galaxy itself. It's a really exciting time to be alive because all these new beginnings are happening at once. We'd have to really dig deep into it, but it's probably been thousands and thousands of years since this has happened. And just really retrospect, one of these planets going direct and coming into that new beginning, it only does it like I think every 87 years, right? So this is literally an opportunity of a lifetime right now to emphasize change and to put ourselves on our right trajectory. So hope you guys are doing well. Glad you're here hanging out with me. I see we got a few people in the chat. Welcome. Things are great. Whatever in time you're watching this, I think it's going to be crucial to understand and take away a few couple points here. There's one, how are we preparing for these new beginnings? Two, what are we looking for in our new beginnings? And three, how is that going to make us feel, right? Because I think if we understand all these different new beginnings are happening and we have a desired outcome and a vision of how we're going to feel at the end once we get through these doors, that's going to be key in manifesting as fast as possible. If you guys are into the law of attraction and manifestation, you already kind of understand my drift on that one. But anyways, as we got all these new opportunities and these new doors are opening, right? Some of these things are happening. One, there could be an excitement within the body. It's exciting to get this new momentum, this new energy to move forward and to take on this new beginning. Or two, uh, a part of us doesn't want the new beginning to happen, right? We're comfortable with kind of where we are. And and this journey, what I've learned is definitely don't get comfortable without changing, right? If you get complacent, that's when the great universe forces great change upon you, right? So don't get complacent, be ready for accepting for change. But these little bit of aspects in you that might want to hang on to this old, right? Might want to stay on the planet of the old thought form within the old energy, right? Can't let it happen. So it's going to be maybe a little bit traumatic getting rid of that energy, if you will. But as we flush these energies out, as we get stronger and we come into these new beginnings, really focus on what do I want to achieve, right? So if we can write things out and you can pick your most top three and you can focus on just those three, what that does is it allows those thought patterns to only revolve around three. So when you got the three thought patterns revolving around your head, you're not so distracted by everything else, and it's easier to obtain and walk through those doors of greatness that you want to achieve, right? So as we're putting all these energies in line, as we're taking, you know, these new beginnings in stride, right? Are we excited? Are we propelling forward, right? I think the expression of self is really adamant. How do you feel? Really be truthful with yourself and dig down into that. So, in preparing for these great new beginnings, there's been a lot of different weird little shifts that's been going on just in my personal life, right? And it's like finishing old projects, it's reorganizing, cleaning that junk drawer out, right? Of just all kinds of random stuff. And you've been saving this one item for like 5 years. And the only time you ever pick it up and see it is when you clean out this junk drawer. And you always put it back, right? Getting rid of things like that, reorganizing the house, the feng shui of things, right? When I see the feng shui, I've got 3 kids, a wife, 2 dogs, and a cat. There's always a little bit of mess in my house, but in the same sense, when the laundry baskets stack up or there's something in the way and I'm having to shift my feet around it, I'm having to not just walk straight and flow through the hallway. I'm having to kind of weave my way around. That's a self-reflection of all the stuff that's spilling out within us, but in the same sense, the the knees hurt, right? Like it affects the physical body because now I'm shifting in different ways just to get through a door or get through a hallway. So as we clean up our environment, as we purify our bodies, you know, it's a tag team tandem effect. So we're cleaning up the house, we're also freeing up mental space within the body, right? Because let's face it, if you put something off for a long time, right, it just builds and accumulates. And then when you go to take on that task, it's almost overwhelming just to start, right? Because the task is so it seems so overbearing because you put it off for so long and it's gotten out of hand. But really, if you just start breaking it down and do it, you'll be amazed what you can get done in a couple hours, right? But then this accomplishment and the feeling that you get and the endorphins that go once you have cleaned that room and you've made that cleanup process. So a lot of weird cleaning, a lot of weird organization in your physical life. Now with the body, we're trying to get rid of all the free radicals, the parasites, the nanos. Really need to free up the body. So by doing so, becoming pure in the body and not overindulging in food and being very strict and disciplined with yourself, what you're doing is you're allowing those cells to free up space, right? So those cells, say you're eating food and digesting or whatever, your cells got to break down. Your energy's got to use that to break down and to turn it into energy, right? Well, if your cells aren't working on inflammation and this tissues and the issue in your tissues, right? The trauma within your drama, as it's moving all that out, right? It's creating space, but in the same sense, now these cells don't have a task, so they're waiting to reacting. And when you can free up cells like this and you can get those reactions to happen, now what does this happen? You can now put these cells in line, right? All the cells can communicate. If all the cells can communicate, they can pass those voltages through each other quicker, which allows more electricity to come through the body and you become more energetically charged, right? You might be able to see the actual energy coming off your hands. Very cool. But as we become energetically charged and we put those cells in line, we got to know it could be painful, right? I mean, purging is never easy. You could end up with a sinus infection. As your cells are reshifting and reorganizing themselves and clearing up space for these new beginnings, so you can hold space and obtain them. It could cause some trauma within the body. But I think it's key to not look through that and overthink about it. But in the same sense, use it as an opportunity to pure yourself and clear yourself. Clean water, all that's going to be good. But yeah, weird organization, getting the house in order, getting the mind and the thought structures in order for these new beginnings. And then bam, what is the new beginning? What is the new opportunity I want to take, right? Well, it's a relationship, a job change. Think of something big right now that's bothering you in your life. What is it, right? And maybe write down all the things that are bothering you. Pick the top 2 or 3 and really hone in. And how can I change this? How can I make it better? Is what I know about new beginnings and new opportunities is if you don't like something, you can change it pretty quick. And you're getting a momentum push to go in the right direction that you desire, right? If we don't take this opportunity to pick out something that's been bothering us, we're kind of wasting this opportunity of new beginnings because we're not capitalizing on changing something in our lives that'll have an impact throughout the entirety of our lives, right? Obviously we can't change everything overnight, but to have that 1% of I'm going to change this today, like I said, when you get to the end of the year, you're at 56%, right? As long as you keep making these steady or gradual changes. So as we slowly change and make these adjustments, if you will, what happens, right? We free up our thought structures, we free up our mind, and we really allow energy to go through our bodies. And that's the key. But if we don't have something we really want to work on and achieve, and we don't have something to go with it, it's like we've lost a passion. We've lost a purpose, right? So for some of us, this opportunity and preparing us of going into these new opportunities and these new doors, I mean, what is it that's going to set your heart on fire, right? This is now a good opportunity to go towards that. But also the lesson I want and the understanding and the preparation is, don't be hard on yourself and be easy with yourself and be truthful with yourself, right? Really look yourself in the mirror and have a hard conversation of which way and direction you want to go. Because if you can clearly pick and choose that direction, once you start heading in that direction, you're not only going to have momentum, and it's not only going to build and glorify itself, but at the end of it, when it's all said and done, the way you're going to feel by making this new beginning, making this new shift and fixing something in your life that's bothering you, the freeness you feel, right? And Some of us might have long lists. It's understandable. I had a long list when I first started. That's the power of healing ourselves, right? When you knock that list out and you get to a point of self-love and there's nothing on that list that bothers you, it's a very interesting complexity, because now your mind is so much freer to think about other things, right? Instead of thought patterns running around about all the things that bother you, it's just like, I mean, it's like there's nothing there. So when there's nothing there, you're in that zone state more, right? You're in the zone because there's nothing distracting you. This is the opportunity to get to a state of that. Very much so. Like I said, this is we're in like a wintry time. So we don't really feel like springing forward in our mental clocks, if you will. But if we can figure out how to get our mental clocks rolling and say, okay, now is the time to spring forward, even though we're not in spring. And maybe you do some spring cleaning and you do some springing into yourself, right? And really propel yourself forward. It's not only going to go tenfold in these new beginnings, but it's going to change your life dramatically. Like I said, imagine when you think about things that could be better in your life, and it's just amplifying what's already good. Clearing out that drama and that trauma is key. Like I said, we're coming into this new opportunities, new beginnings. It's just very, very much so of, I feel a lot of excitement. What I don't want is somebody to miss the opportunity to really propel themselves forward. Even if it's just a small thing that we can do during this new time. I mean, I think we have to like March to really get everything in line. The big shift's happening at the end of this weekend, which I'm very excited for. And like I said, we need to use this weekend to really prepare ourselves, to get ourselves into that mindset of which way we're going to go. And I'm really thrilled that we have this opportunity of new beginnings, because, let's face it, the last year and a half wasn't too easy, right? There's some rocky roads, if you will. And now we're coming into more clarity, more momentum, right? It's time to release the uncertainty. And the new beginning needs to be your new power body, right? You need to take control and your power back, right? Take your sovereignty back. All this is coming back. It's just a beautiful time. I'm glad you guys are hanging out with me. If you got any questions, drop them in the chat box. I'm gonna hang out for a little bit more. It's just I'm almost lost for words. I'm excited. I really am. I haven't felt energy momentum that's pushing at the back in quite some time. It's like we've been going through the storm in a way, but instead of like with our backs to the wind, we've had to go against the grain, right? We've had to go against the wind. And we kind of come out of that, at the beginning of the new year, kind of, Christmas time. We could breathe a little bit, but some of us weren't breathing because of the free radicals in the body, the trauma, the nanos, like all the crazy crap that we absorb, right? But this new beginning, the way I see it, is now is the time to really allow your body to be free of these energies that no longer serve, right? If we can create so much space, then we can attract things. And when we attract them, we have the space to capture them, right? It's good stuff. Toto, crazy sync, and I've been thinking on everything you said today. Yeah. I mean, it's very powerful. Like I said, it's interesting when we look ourselves in the mirror and we really put things down and we want to achieve different things, and we set a trajectory for ourselves to achieve. I think that's just key. And with a new beginning, what are you doing? I mean, you're literally going through your whole shoe collection and you're figuring out, okay, these ones fit, but they hurt my heel after I wear them for so long, so I'm going to let that one go. I like these shoes, but when I stand straight up, it hurts my lower back. Yeah, and this is just an analogy. But we wear all these different shoes and we go through all these different trials and tribulations in those shoes, right? Now's the opportunity to find the glass shoe. Because if you've been through the ringer and back multiple times, I know I have, you know what you don't like, right? You got to experience the nastiness so you know what you don't want. But in the same sense, if you've experienced that hard lesson, if you will, you can learn from it, right? But you can understand the people that are going through that lesson, right? So maybe it's a new beginning into a new lesson, right? Raising your consciousness and your baseline. Ended up in the ER with a bleeding gut. Ouch. Yeah, see? This new beginning is almost forcing our bodies to purge themselves. Was it not this week, but last week, Monday, I had severe stomach bug. I mean, it was like everything went out of my body. It was crazy. And then after that, I had a sinus infection. My snot was never green or yellow, but I was like blowing blood and I was very congested. And, the pressure that builds within your sinus cavities, right? It was very interesting to me. And I felt that it was a purge, right? We were purging out some of this old parasitical energy. So that way, when these new beginnings happen, right, I can gather them all in, right? And kind of put them in my abundance ball, if you will, right? Make that abundance sphere larger so it can consume more, right? Interesting. I feel more charged, but this is definitely. Yeah, anytime something new that happens to the body can be confusing like that, right? You don't know if it's something that's gonna, you know, should you check up on it or should you like just let it go? Yeah, I get that. I think too is like what I said is like if you don't start cleaning up your life and stuff and putting yourself on that trajectory and you free up the cells in the body, eventually that stuff starts spewing out into your reality. When you're trying to pick it up and clean it, you know, there creates a confusion there. There definitely does. It's hard for me to explain, but I feel it and I've went through it. I understand very much so. That's a good question. What kind of divine symbols of geometry can we use to help with growth? The expansion of the flower of life. I mean, that's always my favorite. That's like God source consciousness. That's like the beginning and the harmony of all that is. So that puts you back into that state. If you're working on your nerves, you want to do like a dark hunter green metallic energy and bring it through and like a eight-sided cube. I think that's it. Octagon, decahedron. Maybe it's decahedron. That's good. But really, I think understanding your own divinity of your own images, right? I like to sit back and clear the mind and then ask a symbol to come forward. If you're very specific in your requests, you get very fine detailed things, right? It's always a joke. It's like the universe wants to help me and everything I want to achieve. The only problem is I don't clearly know what to tell the universe, right? Because you have to be precise. But if you break it down with that question and you sit in that within your own meditation and you ask to be shown a symbol of geometry for growth, I highly believe that will come in for you. When we get specific and we get detailed and we really hone in to what exactly it is we want, then we can stay in the now moment, make the action, and it happens, right? If we're indecisive and it's like, well, this would be nice, but I'd also like this, but I also like that. Problem I suffer with a lot. How do we pick one and go for it, right? That's the questions and the keys that we got to ask ourselves. We got a lot of opportunity right now. We really do. Like I said, new beginnings, super excited. Let's use this weekend to just power through, right? Let's get some cleaning done. Let's reorganize some thoughts. Let's maybe have a forgiveness session, right? And that brings me in, and this is another video at that, but the art of forgiveness, right? till you start being easy with yourself and forgiving yourself and then forgiving other people's. You can't go past that threshold, right? I mean, you can pass past it, but you're always going to fall back right below it. Once you can forgive and release all that energy, it truly is magnificent, because a lot of that grudge energy and a lot of the people that have energy pulls on you because maybe you rubbed them wrong and you didn't leave things right, that's all pulling away from your solar plex, right? From your I am presence. So if you're losing your I am presence, how can you stay one within yourself, right? That self-love is going to be crucial, but really the focus is new beginnings. Understand the organization, the cleaning, the weirdness, the get rid of the old shit that no longer serves you. Then purge, detox, do what you got to do to clean up the vessel, to free up space, to get rid of free radicals, to clear up the nanos. So that way the optimization, my new beginning is stepping into my magnificence fully powered back on like I was a couple years ago. 2, stepping into my abundance, my financial growth, right? Making the conscious awareness that I'm going to move forward and I'm going to achieve. What that's going to do is it's going to allow things to be attracted to me. Like I said, guys, some of these planetorial things, some of these subconscious even that's connected within these planets of our solar system to come to this exact point where we're at with these new beginnings. I mean, just take a look around. Really, I mean, what's going on with the Twitter? Elon Musk bought Twitter, now the free speech, and yeah, he's saying like he might not be safe now because he's going up against the narrative, right? All these things that are going up against the narrative, right? For this new beginning, right? All these different changes, and you got the guy they call him, whatever, he can't even finish a full sentence. I think his name's Biden, but yeah, I mean, just look at all the crazy stuff that's going on that's being revealed, right? It's like there's the same weird stuff that's happening within our personal lives when it's coming to like our bodies purging, our organization, and just doing this weird stuff to get more freed energy to be ready for the new opportunities. It's beautiful. I know it's been way too long since I've been on here. I really have a hard intention of being consistent and bringing you guys all these messages and just striving on. But for me personally, it's staying in the now moment. And sometimes the now moment revolves too much around the 3 kids and the family that I don't always necessarily feel that telling everybody to go sit in the corner and wait while I come out here to make a video is the best at the opportunity of the time. Not only that, this technology crap's different. I'm still working on my lighting settings. I can make myself like look crazy, if you will. Camera wasn't working today. I had to use the webcam. So I'm still understanding and walking through new opportunities within the YouTube, right? To be pretty good at YouTube, you have to be pretty good at making videos. And to be pretty good at making videos, you got to know what you're doing. And being present or learning how to do, obviously had a mix of emotions and had the different boxes of opportunities arise. So needless to say, guys, I'm going to be more diligent about it, and I've got most of it figured out. I just got to put the action to it. It's really interesting. It really is. When you do something for the first time, right? It's so foreign and it seems so hard, right? But what's the first thing that starts happening? Oh, this is hard. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I don't see how anybody does this. This is a scam, right? It's like you're already spelling and spewing out these words to contradict yourself in something you really wanted to do. And at the end of the day, you're like, yeah, screw that. I'm just going to sit back. Right? So new opportunities is pushing through those boundaries, right? New opportunities is allowing you to get some of these things done that's been driving you crazy or that's not been fully aligned with the position that you want to take. So keep that in mind, guys. Like I said, it's absolutely beautiful time to do some self-love, self-healing, clean up the stuff. We got it organized. I don't know exactly what's going to be the shift on Monday the 23rd and how we're going to feel and what's that. And obviously I'm going to be coming back soon to talk about it. But that pretty much sets the window from January to March. And if you be very proactive and you make changes happen and you just put your head down and you grind and get this stuff done, clear up all the things that are bothering you in your life, when you get to March and those new blessings begin to start coming in, the universe is going to be very clear. You're going to be very clear to the universe from here to March on what you want. So that way, when spring finally arrives, the seeds are planted, the rain happens, and those beautiful flowers and geometrical symbols that you desire are, boom, present right in your reality. Oh, that sounds so exciting. I'm so excited. All right. You guys are awesome. I'll see if anybody would got another question here. Oh, yep. Oh, yeah. That's right. Biden. When you are going to a group session, I have two people on the brain. All right. Yes, we do. We still do the group sessions on Friday. Obviously, over the grudgement of October, November, December, everybody kind of went into their own patterns and self-realizations, which, I did too. But the emphasis on bringing that back, it's very interesting. When we all seem like we're kind of tucked away and going through our own personal stuff, it reflects out within the community from what I've seen too. Yeah, and it's very interesting. But yeah, definitely spread the word, get the people together. We'll pass on the Zoom information and we'll get it going. So as always, if you guys have any questions, you know how to reach out to me. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. It helps me out. Appreciate it. Check out guidingdlight.com if you want some sessions. Yeah, we're pretty much wide open right now. The new opportunity is where we're looking at, and what opportunity that is it's now. So let's step in the now moment, be very persistent and consistent within your diligence of pushing forward. Know that we got to clean the body up. We got to clean the atmosphere up and really organize things. So that way, when these new beginnings and these new blessings come in, we know exactly where to put them and how to run with them, right? That's going to be key. So with that in mind, you guys stay awesome, stay true, be you. And until next time, peace.